very slowly. It was supposedly going to be the walkout, and the players will be introduced to the crowd individually. The captain at the tail of affairs, and I'm sure the boys from Wigan will be very proud when this smoke clears and they're looking out at a sea of 60,000 faces, with maybe, just maybe, 1,000 of them barracking for Wigan. But it is a tribute to their achievements that they have attracted what I'm pretty positive will be a ground record crowd for ANZ Stadium. 58,000 as Martin just stretches out there. 58,000, just a touch over that, saw Brisbane play St George to set the record. Alan Langer now, he brings the Brisbane side out, so the actual walk-on and the script has obviously been thrown to the heavens as they come out now and getting to their positions, and will await, of course, the national anthems of both countries. What an ordeal it's been, and I think that's the right word for the Broncos. 10 of them are going around in their third match in 10 days, and the other 3 are going around in their second match in 5. So that is an ordeal, is it not? Toss of the coin will be conducted in the presence, of course, of the captains and Greg McCallum and Alan Border. Wigan without Dean Bell. He's Auckland Warriors bound, as is Andy Platt. And, of course, Kelvin Skerritt out injured with that fractured jaw. So Sean Edwards bringing the Wigan side across to assemble for the rendition of God Save the Queen in their case, and then, of course, the Australian national anthem will follow as Alan Langer brings the Broncos into their line to face the crowd on the members' side of the ground. The smoke starting to lift, and that's good news. Alan Border got a rousing reception. In fact, there's a portion of the crowd here from Wigan, and they actually, I think it's genuflected as Border did his lap of honour, that they were very praiseworthy of the Australian captain.
Just had the kip out in the two up, Ray. He likes a punt too, Alfie. He might have gone the heads.
A lot of people are saying that if Brisbane are going to get it back together, that they may as well start here. Others are saying they've got to start here. So we stand by now for the anthems. It's been quite a countdown to the kick-off, to the 6th playing of the World Club Challenge. $400,000 as Tommy Emmanuel prepares to give the rendition of the anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain upstanding for our national anthem. Let's hear you. Advance Australia Fair.
So the crowd now go back to their seats with the formalities of the preceding events before the playing of the World Club Challenge over now. The fireworks have left behind their remnants, but they are clearing as well. And we're almost set for the start of the first playing of this match in the modern era anyway, with the exception of that Eastern Suburbs St Helens game back in the 76 year here on Australian soil. Certainly the first playing of a World Club Challenge in Queensland. And it is going to be Wigan from left to right. News on the state of origin is that Kerrod Walters has been brought into the Queensland side, with Steve, we're told, fairly reliably pulling out today. That is the official news. So sit back and enjoy now. $400,000 winner-take-all, the World Club Challenge of Rugby League. The Australian Premiers and the English Premiers. And, of course, that's Glenn Lazarus coming up with the first carry-up of the game, and taken by some heavy tackling by Wigan. Distance of this game, the 80 minutes and the 10-metre rule, will probably have its disadvantages for both sides. Wigan with their layoff and their trip down here, and of course Brisbane with their heavy workload. So they've got contrasting reasons, I suppose, for having their worries about the last 20 minutes. Mark Hone, it is, playing the ball. Kerrod Walters just getting away from a would-be tackle by Frano Botica, but eventually wrapped up and put away. And a player in the headgear involved in the tackle, Phil Clark, who fills the number 13 jumper these days. The kick, not a good one. It went down to Offier's wing, and then Alan Langer tried to sneak away with it, but it came off the hands, and a knock-on has been ruled. It will be the turnover, in fact, being the last tackle.
Very good pressure there from Sean Edwards, coming through to put pressure on Langer. Langer, of course, kicked the football, so everybody is back on side when he does get a knock-on there. Botica also did well. He was the one marker when Walters took off from the dummy half position. They're two players that must be watched.
That's McGinty in jumper number 17, playing his last match for the great Wigan club tonight. Sean Edwards, beautiful pair of hands, and he's worth watching for that skill through the night. Well, that's a bad mistake there by Frano Botica.
He's going to be one of the key players tonight, Botica. The second man pass put some pressure. Tried to beat Renouf on the outside and Hancock. That was never going to work. His goal kicking be better than just about everybody in the game of league, I suppose. Ridge and Halligan come to mind, but Botica, one of the great kickers in the game, and Sean Edwards penalised here for not retiring.
20 kilos the better of at Brisbane in the pack weights, as you would have noticed as they went into that first scrum. A sideline comment from Gary Belcher joining us tonight.
Ray, there's been questions asked about how serious these two sides are about the game. I can tell you the Broncos, I've never seen them as serious before a game. They have a few jokers in the side. They're all dead set straight down the line about this one. They want to get away with a good win, not only because it's a club challenge, you see a bit of a scuffle there, also because they played very ordinary last week. Inside the 10 was the ruling against Wigan.
And I see one of the players coming from quite a space away to get involved was Andrew G. He was involved in the melee that took place in 1992, according to Coach Money. And John joins us in the commentary tonight. Brisbane take play to within about 25 metres of the Wigan line. Play on the far side of the ground. Kerrod Walters letting a decoy go to the blind and putting Mark Hone about 10 metres down the ground on the open side. Kerrod goes to dummy half again. And Alan Langer now starts to call the tune. That's him with it. Through to Kevin Walters. His runners went a bit too soon. And he's put away about 3 or 4 metres inside the Wigan 20-metre line. And it's a fairly sore Kevin Walters that gets to his feet. Kerrod got a pass away. That should be 6 more. It came off the hand of Wigan. And Julian O'Neill it is who's tackled 15 out from the line. A chance for Brisbane as they test the Wigan defence for the first time. That's Alan Cann. Cann will play it 15 out, centre of the ground as you can see. Kerrod Walters across, a long pass for Langer, and well taken by the big man Andrew G. He had to go right down to his ankles to take it. It was a horror pass to give a big man. Walters now dummy half onto the blind for Willie Kahn in number 5, playing fullback. And over there to go to dummy half, but he was pushed out of the road, Wendell Saylor. Langer across, Johns joins in. No Kevin Walters there at the moment. Here's Julian O'Neill looking for the angle from Hancock, and he accepts that offer. He's put away. Good tackle there by Connolly. Connolly gives Hancock a little bit for his corner as Walters gives it away for Langer. The grubbing kick, and Wigan, they try to clean up, and they succeed in doing so.
Well, that was just outstanding defence from Wigan. Not many sides can keep Brisbane out when they've got 12 shots in a 20-25 metre area, and they did it in style. Wigan, a great tackle from Connolly there on Michael Hancock. And we talk about serious. Wigan's defence there, very, very good. Their mind's on the job.
Yeah, I think one of the great differences in the two sides is in the goal-kicking department. You just know that if Wigan get a penalty for anything from 40 yards out in, their Bodica will go very close to kicking the goal. And we saw the Broncos take their customary quick tap, but Botts will sure put them over.
Well, Farrell it was who cleared for the Wigan side, a big lump of a 19-year-older playing in the second row.
Anyway, the worst thing that could happen to Brisbane tonight would be to pick up some injuries, and Kevin Walters, you see him limping in the background past the play the ball area. He's in all sorts of trouble. Wendell Saylor gets involved, tries to brush through one tackle, can't do so.
5 or 6 metres on their side of the halfway, the Broncos defending the World Club Challenge trophy, which they won over Wigan 2 years ago, just after, in fact, a week after the World Cup, which was won by Australia at Wembley.
And there's a mistake here from the Brisbane side. Andrew G copped a shoulder charge, and Kevin Walters has left the field. And John Platt, as Walters coming to the sideline with the trainer. John Platt goes into the side now as Bodica finds Barry John Mathan. He's meeting good defence. Chris Jones.
Let's take a sideline comment from Gary Belcher.
Well, we see a very disappointed Kevin Walters limping off. There was some sort of left ankle injury. He's indicated to the trainers that it's not too good. He's straight in to see the doctor.
They can ill afford the loss of Kevin Walters, the Broncos, because many people, and I think Gary Belcher included, would agree, he is very much the fulcrum off which they depend. This is Sean Edwards now.
And we're playing under international rules tonight, Ray, which means that Kevin won't be back. Once you're off tonight, you're off, and that's the end of the game.
So 25 metres out now from the Broncos line, an opportunity for Wigan, and Sean Edwards puts it high in the air. A good tactic in these conditions. A chance, a try! That's a try for sure. Scored by Dennis Betts. McCallum gives the try, and Wigan get the first points.
Oh, magnificent kick from Sean Edwards, but what were the Brisbane players doing, milling around waiting for somebody else to catch? You see Edwards on the right-hand side of the ruck. Perfect kick to find space in between Saylor and Willie Kahn. They both let it bounce, and that took some ability from Dennis Betts to get the ball down with the one hand.
What about the confidence of the put down?
Oh, great start. And this, I suppose, shows the problem with playing a specialist winger at fullback. A complete mix-up there between Saylor and Willie Kahn, and Betts chasing through. That's a great try.
Dennis Betts scores the try. He's won the Lance Todd Trophy, one of the richest awards in the game. It might only be on the mantelpiece now, but man of the match at Wembley. And this fellow has been capped for Great Britain 24 times. And he's played in that great final at Wembley 5 times. He gets first points on ANZ Stadium in this historic clash tonight. Wigan lead 4-0 with the attempted conversion. It would seem commonplace for this great goal kicker, Frano Bodica. Straight between the uprights, and 6-0 the score in the World Club Challenge of Rugby League. So we're going live through to B-Sky B, and I believe Andy Gregory's over there hosting or co-hosting.
Andy Gregory, yeah, he's in the studio, and everybody in Australia says hello to Andy Gregory, a great little halfback, and he's still playing at Salford.
We'll restart now for Wigan to take back. And this is Farrell.
Well, they couldn't have had a worse start, Brisbane, could they? That 6 points scored against them through a soft try, really, when you consider... Oh, here's Jason Robinson, almost straight through. Great run from the young winger. Finally cleaned up by Platt, 40 metres out centre field. A weakness there in the Broncos' defence. On top of those 6 points, they've lost Kevin Walters, one of their chief playmakers. They're going to have to dig deep once again.
So near the halfway line, and a great start for the visitors in this case. This is Clark. Great tour down here in 1992. I know it's a big thing to say that they've lost nothing in having Clark at the back of the scrum in place of Hanley, but I think Clark has done everything his coaches have asked of him. And Edwards it is who puts it in the air and across into the corner. Well, Willie Cahn's lost his footing and Wendell Saylor has come up with it, but that could have been another opportunity there for either Offia or Mather to carry it on for another try.
Yeah, if you're playing fullback, right, you just don't let these sort of balls bounce. Willie falling over there, but gee, it's a problem at the back.
Well, you're going to continue to keep kicking that way either, do you?
Saylor it is, playing at 25 metres out from his own line, and a penalty against Wigan inside the 10. Langer up to take a quick tap. A couple of the Wigan players inside the 10, but McCallum allows a little bit of leniency to run there as Brisbane come up and play the ball through Julian O'Neill, and now crossing the halfway mark is Andrew G. Steve Renouf up at dummy half, but again Kerrod Walters scurries across to push him out of the road. And it's Alan Cam now who, as I say, Brisbane appeal for some more time to mount their defence on some allegations of a high tackle against Illawarra last Friday, and Cam getting a last-minute reprieve to play in the game. Interestingly enough, Brisbane, I think, have pledged an equal amount of the monies that they will be handed as players to Trevor Gilmeister, should they win this match tonight. Gilmeister, of course, a member of the Premiership winning side in 1993. Kerrod Walters now for Langer. Langer looking for John Plath, and Langer puts on the accelerator. Renouf goes for the line, and Renouf is held out by great defence. Connolly was one, and I think the other was Panipa, or was it Robinson?
Yeah, Robinson came across. He's already made a bust in the game, and he came up with an important tackle low here on Steve Renouf. The acceleration of the centre is unbelievable, but this young man did a good job. They let Langer run. They'll have problems if they continue to do that. Got outside Billy McGinty. Here's Renouf trying to get between a couple of players, but Robinson, with the help of Connolly, just short, and the ball comes loose.
He's a fine young product. We've heard a lot about him, Jason Robinson, and who made a desperate save with Gary Connolly there. And Steve Renouf, I think he'll probably be saying, my goodness, I was over the line, and he really was, but it required a try-saver, and that was forthcoming from Wigan, who now capitalise on a mistake by Brisbane and a penalty and the tap, and Dermott hands it up now for Cowie. Cowie, who toured down here in 92. He didn't play in a test match. He made his test debut in 93 against the Frenchman. And this is McGinty. Dermott across, and finding the lock forward. Coming up flat, Phil Clark. They're 25 out from the line now.
Just with a couple to go. Sailors now drop back to fullback. Willie Kahn back out on his specialist wing. They're working play that way. He's got to make it.
Mather away. O'Fire in and out, looking for runners. Langer's hanging on. Desperate stuff, but Wigan, they're finding openings in the Brisbane line. Another desperate lunge at the line out there in the far corner from the centre three-quarter. Panipa. The whole field to work in now. They come across with Bodica, throwing it back willy-nilly. Picked up by Mather. Into the air they go. Onside was the lock forward, but it came off and away to Hancock. Back on their 20-metre line, Brisbane really having to reassemble and think again.
A breakdown of communication there. Bodica got the ball on the last tackle, but he was under pressure, looking to keep the ball alive. Kick came across field off the side of the boot. Clark underneath, but couldn't catch. What about the great tackle from Alan Langer on Offia? Great show of strength from the little man. And he needed to be there. They were under pressure once again.
6-0 then in favour of Wigan as Lazarus works it out to the 40-metre line. Kerrod Walters. Andrew G. working at close quarters. Julian O'Neill. Taken by Bodica and Panipa. Just outside the 40-metre line. Kerrod Walters appealing for a penalty as it goes back for the kick off the boot of Alan Langer. And he's kicked it over there between the fullback, Connolly, who's got Offia with him. But Connolly takes it himself 35 metres out, and I'm sure he made more ground than most people thought he might. A little bit standoffish, the defence over there. Dennis Betts offering Martin Offia the chance to come round, but Betts takes the tackle of Willie Kahn. They're nearly to the halfway line now.
And if I can just bring everybody's attention to the dummy half work of Martin Dermott. He's a very slick dummy half, and a lot of the good play that Wigan do, it starts with Martin Dermott. Very, very good dummy half, very, very skillful.
Ball played by Panapa, 32-year-old centre. Bodica was the dummy half. This is Cowie, the ginger-headed front row forward. 35 metres out from the Brisbane Broncos line. 6-0 Wigan. Dermott out. A scurry out from dummy half. That's play on off the knees for Wigan, but it's picked up by the Broncos on the advantage.
A good option there from Dermott. Really opened up a hole for Sean Edwards. Last tackle, always a nice time to run the football. The opposition expect you to kick. You see a big hole inside Kerrod Walters there. And if Edwards had have taken that, he only had Saylor in front.
Broncos now. They work it out from the 30-metre line. And they have been pretty much the team under siege since kick-off time. Wigan using the air and using it to their great advantage. It's brought them a converted try as Lazarus reaches the halfway mark now. Walters on for Langer. Langer puts the kick across the ground. Falling back to take it, Robinson. Not very big. He's very nuggety. 19 years of age. And he's played Test football. 40-metre line for Robinson, put away eventually by a couple of the Brisbane forwards.
The way he started this first 10 minutes of this game, he'll play plenty more Test football, Jason Robinson. Comes back into a position, got good speed as Farrell plays the ball forward, taken by Walters. Really a lot more enthusiasm in the Wigan side. The support play is very good. The chase is good on the kicks. They go to the back line now, getting Clark involved.
This is Mather stepping through. He's got support with Martin Offia. He runs away from Offia and scores himself. Big Mather, 6'7" of him, converted from the second row to the centre. He treated Martin Offia with disdain. Looked at him and said, "You're joking, this is mine."
Well, I've got to say, if the first try was a soft one, this was probably softer running the football. We just have a look at the Brisbane defence out wide as we freeze play there. Now, straight away, you can see they're staggered in defence. That's Steve Renouf back here. Langer's gone up quickly, and the Wigan numbers as play continues just means they've got too many players there. The step back inside, Renouf, a very ordinary attempt. There's Martin Offia on the inside. But Barry John Mather, he did the right thing. He turned Wendell Saylor inside out. A very ordinary defence. You must go up in one line. If you don't, you're going to get hurt. And Wigan keeping the ball alive here. Getting Clark involved, creating the extra man. Bad miss from Renouf. Barry John Mather, he did not panic here. There was Hancock trying to put it with Offia. Didn't need the help.
Well, what a great start for Wigan as Frano Bodica prepares conversion. And look at the size of this fellow, 6'7", John.
Yeah, he's a player that we recruited at Wigan when I was there from Blackpool. He was at the university in Blackpool, a rugby union player, and he'd already had one tour of Australia when he was 16. So he's an ex-rugby union player, and he's been converted to the centres, and he's got very good speed. What a great support player in Martin O'Fire if you make a break.
Bodica puts it over. Wigan leading 12-0, 17 minutes gone. So this crowd, I guess, 59,000 of the 60, and I'm taking it for granted that there is 60,000 here because I can't see a vacant seat out there. Not even in the extremities of the bleachers can I see a vacant seat, and 59,000 of the 60 are sitting stunned at the moment.
It's almost shell-shocked the crowd, so too the Brisbane team. And John, as you pointed out, Offia, he's just such a great try-scoring talent, but not because he sits on his wing and waits for things to happen out there for him. It was the inside pass. He's had to come all the way infield to be in support on the inside. That's why he gets across the line.
Well, he came 60 yards to support that play, and they didn't need him. But if you've got Martin in support, well, you just know that the fullback's going to react. And the fullback hung off Barry John Mather there, and it just opened up for BJ.
McGinty now. Socks down. And here is the lock forward. Clark minus the headgear on the halfway line. Across to Sean Edwards. No Andy Gregory, of course, these days in the famous Wigan colours. Wendell Saylor wearing number 1, playing out on the wing.
We mentioned Frano Bodica's kicking from the the place kick, but I think Sean Edwards should also be mentioned. He's got one of the best kicking games for an inside back in the world. Very, very astute with the way that he drives the ball deep into the corner. Seems to have time when he kicks the football, and that's an important thing. You can see him directing the players around him. His kicking game's going to be very important. John Plath finds Willie Kahn in space.
Kahn taking it down over the halfway and beyond. The ball goes to ground. An opportunity goes for Brisbane. And Connolly is flung to the ground 20 metres out by Langer. Penalty now goes to Wigan. It's against Alan Langer for pulling Connolly down the second time. John Plath was the man that got in between them. And Kahn in this situation throws the pass without looking, and Chris Johns puts it down. This is what brought the penalty.
Yeah, I've got to say, another sign of frustration there from Kerrod Walters. We saw both he and Alan Langer sin-binned on Friday night against Illawarra for dissent. And that, there was no way knowing he was not going to be penalised for pulling the player back down.
Yeah, I just thought the pass from Willie Kahn, that was a simple skill of the game, and Willie tried to do it difficult. He made the simple task difficult. You know, he made it into a real tricky play, and it was a simple play.
So Wigan by 12 points to 0 as the ball works through from Boddicker to Panapo, and a chance for Brisbane. Langer gets a short pass away. O'Neill gives it up for Renouf. Renouf unable to get away from the clutches again of Robinson. They've scored twice, and Robinson has saved 2 as well. O'Neill tries to dance around him. Robinson makes the tackle again. Kerrod Walters to dummy half. Brisbane to the right. Langer across. Hancock. Michael Hancock gets the pass away, but gives it to Martin Offia, who's offside.
Well, the referee played advantage there, and it looked like Hancock was going to set a try up for his outside man. He stepped inside Farrell, but Offia, coming into where the action was able to come up with the intercept. He saved his side there. Sean Edwards did the same on this far side. He was a mile offside, slowed to play the ball down. What about Sean Edwards here? He's about 5 metres offside again as they've taken the quick tap. Saylor getting involved.
Saylor has gone back to full back, and he chimes in from that position now. 10 metres out from the line. An opportunity for Brisbane to get on the board. O'Neill, that is. Wigan have been able to repel everything that Brisbane has thrown at them so far. Walters inside for Lazarus. The big man looks for the line. Held up and forced back a couple of metres. Away from Kerrod Walters. Langer tries to do it himself, but they hang on through Panapo. Kerrod Walters now dummy half again. The blind side is stacked. Hone back for Walters, across for Lazarus, then back for Walters. Out it goes. Johns can't take it. Kahn tries to kick it through. Picked up by Saylor, but now it's called to a halt by McCallum.
Well, for the best team in getting the football over the line, Brisbane have butchered a couple of tries there. Alan Langer really, again, as John pointed out on the far side with Willie Kahn, I thought it was a simple play with Langer going to the line and offloading on the outside. This is another great tackle here on Renouf. Jason Robinson, he looks like he might have hurt himself there, Steve Renouf. He's leaving the field, so more problems with Peter Ryan coming on. Martin Offia putting great pressure on the outside men in the last passage of that play. And there was a 2 or 3 man overlap for the Broncos.
You just got to take your chances, haven't you, Peter, in the big games? And the Broncos have had a couple of chances to get across the line, and they haven't been able to do so.
Here's this big try scorer, Mather. Brought down just inside his 30-metre line. Panapo a dummy half. That is Farrell. Let's take a sideline comment from Gary.
Well, Wigan have a few of their own troubles as well. Martin Hall, number 15, looks to be coming on for Martin Dermott. Of course, with Steve Renouf now off the field as well as Kevy Walters, they can't take any further part in the game. No, it's permanent replacements.
Panapo now. On the halfway line they work. Edwards pushing it out. Farrell putting the kick in and across the ground. Good deep kick into the corner. Easy to defend against, having them coming out of the corner. And Martin Dermott has gone from the field.
I gave Sean Edwards a rap for his kick. What about Andrew Farrell? Doesn't he give the ball a wallop? Big torpedo down into the corner. The chase was good. When Kahn caught the football, he was confronted by 5 cherry and white jerseys.
Knocked backward, said referee McCallum, as John Plath throws a pass that didn't have to be thrown, not at this end of the park and not at this stage of the game. John's playing it. Kerrod Walder's a dummy half. The ball goes sloppily behind the runners, and Andrew G picks it up. Ryan is on for Renouf, and obviously the Broncos would have to reshuffle with O'Neill, I would imagine, going out to the backs. The last now for the Broncos, and they are in trouble. The scoreboard has them 12-0 down. They've lost two of their stars, Kevin Walters and Steve Renouf. What looked like it might be a bleak 1994 continues for the Brisbane side. Can they dig out of this? This is the lock forward, Phil Clark, 30 metres out from his own line.
Having a wow of a game too, Phil Clark, providing a good link between backs and forwards. His work rate, as it always is, very high tonight. Good strong defence in the middle of the field by Mark Cone. Again, Farrell nearly gets through some ineffective defence. That front line of Brisbane at times looks very brittle.
Looks like Dennis Betts in there under that tackle on the last. It is Dennis Betts. He scored the first try. Sean Edwards. He's taking them round the park. Sean Edwards directs where the... Here's Wendell Saylor. Saylor with a great run. The crowd comes to their feet. Kerrod Walder's magnificent support work, but he's lost it.
Well, Martin Offia has come from the clouds and he's surprised Kerrod Walters, and that's why the football has come out. Great break made by Wendell Saylor up the middle. A bad miss from Sean Edwards there in the centre of the park, but it was good evasion as well from Saylor, so it can't be too critical. And there's Offia. Out comes the ball. Nothing going right.
Yeah, again, Wendell Saylor probably should have just kept going. He didn't take every yard that he was given. I thought the chances of Wendell Saylor going all the way there were great. As you said, Martin Offia out of the clouds and come up with a try-saver.
Mather now.
Now, it's something of a jigsaw puzzle out there at the moment, Ray, that the Brisbane side. I think you'll find that Plath and Langer are the half and 5 out. They'll swap around a little bit. Khan has gone into the centres as the Wigan player goes over the sideline. It's an ordinary work there from Billy McGinty. And that means that Saylor has gone out onto the wing and Julian O'Neill goes back to the fullback position.
Callan is calling timeout, and McGinty is leaving the field. I thought for a moment it might have been blood bin, but I think it was just a normal change. It's gone across now for Khan, working in closer to the player, to the ruck or the scrum, and that's O'Neill in from the back. Did you tell me he's gone back to fullback now, Julian O'Neill?
Yes, that's where he's dropped back to. So we've seen 3 fullbacks in the first 20 minutes.
Here's a good run by Wendell Saylor again. He's stamping himself on the game, and he puts it down. That's a magnificent piece of work. Only about 2 minutes ago, he looked like scoring a runaway try, and now he has sniffed out a blindside that was weak in defence, and he gets the first try for the Broncos.
Yes, they went to sleep there. You see the player on the ground. That forced Offia, who is the winger, to come in to cover the vacant marker position. And then a good strength in carrying Phil Clark over the line. But there you see Offia. He's had to come in. The slow player up, I think, was Barry John Mather. Wendell Saylor had the presence of mind to go the short side against very little defence. Clark blowing up, but he got the ball down.
Well, that's a magnificent try by Wendell Saylor. He was on the odds to a kicking, I suppose, because if he goes on his own down the blind with a back line already organised, waiting for the ball, and he's only a youngster, he showed his confidence, he showed maturity well above his years, and he went for it, and he got it. And Wayne Bennett will be smiling. They've got a lot of hopes for Wendell Saylor as the little Bronco does his first lap of honour.
As I said before, Ray, when he made that break before, I felt he could have taken the fullback on, but you've got to admire a player that backs himself, and he just said, yeah, I can score this try myself. 40 yards out, and he ran the thing in, so very good play from Wendell Saylor.
Actually, just getting back to that try that you're referring to, that Wendell maybe could have scored himself. I think Kerrod Walters is wishing he hadn't have given him the pass. He got crunched from behind by Offia. Well, that's a magnificent try for that youngster, Wendell Saylor. It'll do him the world of good. And he won't be frightened in future to take an opportunity against all odds. And I guess that's what separates them. And it all comes down to the decision day. Julian O'Neill from the sideline. Not too bad, but just one. So Brisbane on the board against Wigan. They're down at the 29th minute, 12-4. Back for the restart again. It's just an incredible sight looking out at this crowd here at ANZ, keeping in mind that I think the biggest Australian Rugby League crowd was 78,000 for St George and Souths back in '65. I certainly wasn't there then.
Here's a mistake, Ray, from Glenn Lazarus. It surprises me you weren't there back then, but we're here tonight. There were plenty of other people. You see Langer just offloads to Glenn Lazarus, and somehow the ball's just come out before he's even got to the defensive line. I knew you weren't there, Ray.
I was trying to make the point that when you haven't worked in front of a crowd like this, it's an enormous sight. As now Connolly joins in from the back, and he puts it down.
Chance.
Silly mistake made by Wigan. Brisbane take it out outside the 40-metre line. Julian O'Neill struggling to his feet, calling for a penalty. Willie Kahn exemplifies the lack of organisation out there for Brisbane. He's looking for a call. Garrett Walters for Mark Hone. Wigan starting to tire. Latter stage of the first half. That's Andrew G. The crowd get behind them now. Garrett Walters angles for Lazarus. Inside the 20 now.
And if Wigan are getting tired, Kerrod Walters will sniff that out. That's the last tackle signal. It goes to Langer, who kicks cross field. Not exactly where he wanted it. Willie Kahn underneath it, can't take the ball, but Hancock's got the ball that's gone backwards. Good scrambling defence once again from Robinson.
Picked up by Plath at the back. And for the Wigan players, I think it was Panava. 6 more tackles ruled by McCallum. A golden opportunity for the Broncos now. Hancock playing it. That's G. Mark Hone, flat. 10 metres out from the line.
Sean Edwards was playing behind the line. I don't think you can do that as a halfback 15 out from your own line. He came up with that tackle. He's left him short in front as Langer tries to open up something with Andrew G. Can't do so, but it is centre field. Good options either side.
So Brisbane like an arrowhead now. Left or right. Langer held it back with a little dummy, and then the pass for Alan Cam. 3 metres from the line, down 12-4. Langer again, grubber kicks in behind. Offia saw it coming.
Well, good defence again from Wigan. I think they are getting a little bit tired. Good work from the outside men from Wigan to go up quickly too. That opened the gap up that Langer could put the ball through on the toe. Offia had stayed back and accepted it nicely. There's a big swinging arm on the left-hand side here, or the right-hand side from the player's point of view. Frano Bodica, John Plath, he was amused by it also. No damage done.
Let's take a sideline comment from Gary Belcher.
Just wanted to throw in a little bit about Wendell Saylor earlier. I think Martin Offia is the man who's got it ahead of him now. If he wants to get a points decision, Saylor was looking forward all week to marking Offia to press his chances to get on the Kangaroo Tour.
Yeah, Gary, I don't think it's going to be any coincidence that we'll see Brisbane attack down that side of the field either. I think they might believe that Offia can be a little bit iffy in defence. They already made one bust down there when Kahn's pass went astray. They've scored the try there. I think that's where they'll target.
Yeah, Peter, you just got to know that if you go that way, though, you've got to beat him twice, you know. If you beat him once, you probably know he's going to come again and get you the second time. The other thing that he puts in your mind is you've got to be very careful of where you kick the ball. If you have a bad kick and kick the ball to the open field of Martin Offia, well, the guy could go 100 yards.
This is Peter Ryan now, just inside the 20-metre line. Andrew G doing the bullocking work. Kerrod Walters works with Alan Langer, and Langer is pulled down by Sean Edwards. 7 on 7, 5 tackles gone, 8 metres out from the line. Kerrod Walters, lofted pass for Plath, across for Johns, the grubber kick. Offia goes back with Connolly, and Connolly makes the field of play. Very
safe fullback Gary Connolly. He's done everything right tonight. His positional play is very good. You see here, great faith shown by Martin Offia and Gary Connolly, who had the better play on the ball.
I think what they've got to do with this long kicking game too is give the ball to Andy Farrell. Sean Edwards can only kick the ball half the distance that Andy Farrell. He's got a big left boot and he can kick the ball a lot further than Sean Edwards can.
Dennis Betts tumbled into the ground. Alan Can encouraging the players to come up with him. Can again, but this time a penalty.
And that's a lucky play there for Wigan. And some back chat again from Brisbane. That won't please Wayne Bennett. It was the last tackle. Parnapper had taken off from dummy half, and it could have been a turnover down this end of the field of Brisbane, but the penalty went against, and it's taken some pressure off the English side.
They find the line off the boot of Andrew Farrell. And this is Cowie to the 30-metre line. 15 is the replacement for Dermott. Martin Hall through 3 sets of hands. It finds its way out for Dennis Betts, wide now. Tackled by Mark Hone. John Plath giving an assist. Frano Botica turning it inside. Mather, one of the try scorers, is 25 out from the line. Closing in on half-time. Michael Cassidy in the headgear is on as well for Wigan. Edwards, the run around. And this is Frano Botica again. Panapa is the number 3. Across now to Edwards. Kieran Walters came up fast out of the line. A shot for drop goal off the boot of Farrell. And it's gone wide and dead. And back to the 20-metre line for the place kick restart by the Broncos.
Well, maybe not a bad option there, taken by Wigan, leading by 8 points. Hanging with 9 at half-time, just that little bit better. The second pass out to Farrell. He hit it fairly well. And we've got another mistake now made by the Brisbane side. I think Wendell Saylor has come up with the mistake, centre field 30 out from his own line. Again, it's just a simple drop of the football there as he's trying to get up, struggling to play the football. Maybe Clark was a little bit lucky not to be penalised.
8-3 the handling errors. 8-3 now. Brisbane on the wrong side of that ledger as Wigan expectedly win the scrum. And Botica waits for the decoy run by Mather before using Panapa. Panapa winning the Sunderland medal for his performance in the Premiership decider. That was against Castleford from memory. And out and away goes Hall using Cassidy. Cassidy, a blonde-headed player, choosing to wear the headgear. Edwards on for Betts. Betts standing, looking to offload. Farrell was there. Valuable player, Andrew Farrell, young, big, fast, and able to kick. Edwards floating it, looking for Robinson. Robinson catches, kicks on the same play, and then gathers the ball in. Well, that was an incredible feat by this youngster. He caught, kicked, and caught again, and I think he was on the same blade of grass.
Yeah, we are giving him some raps, but this does take some skill because there's no space there. There's nothing on. Michael Hancock able to get his hand in there and stop the catch from being taken cleanly. But again, a young player prepared to really have a go. And it almost came up trumps once again. Only a couple of minutes left now. 2.5. As
Johnny Plath is into open space now. Saylor's coming up to support. He's on the inside. And Johnny Plath, unaware of that, able to regain his feet. Saylor comes across the park, stepping and beating players, finding support. That'll be Chris Johns that's gone to ground.
Well, got smashed too. I think Sean Edwards have got to hang on here, Wigan. They're under pressure. Bad pass.
Langer scoops it away, and it's dived on by Andrew G. That was raked out, I thought, by Wigan. McCallum says play on, but he doesn't restart the tackle count. Home gets it away. Galloping up to them as Cairn now. 35 out. 12-4 in favour of Wigan over Brisbane. Kieran Walters away, short pass for Lazarus. Lazarus put down. Over the top goes Cassidy. Now it's away from Walters again. To Langer. He puts the kick in. He's been felled. Has it been a penalty incurred? Not now, I'd say, as Wigan come out to the 20-metre line. No touch judge going in.
One of those great abilities that Botica has is that he's a player that anticipates very well and he can turn up in the right places at the right time, as he read that Alan Langer kick.
Cassidy. 30 metres away from his own line. Farrell. Look at the size of him. Lazarus is a big, big man. And Farrell, I think, might be bigger. Offia. We haven't seen too much of Martin Offia with the ball in his hands. Pretty to watch. Paniper for Robinson. Robinson put down just inside the 40-metre line. Offia still there, lurking like a shark. Edwards puts the kick across. Saylor goes back. Mather comes down the ground. Saylor beats Mather. Tackled just inside his own 20-metre line. O'Neill. Through Johns. With Plath. Clark went in for a tackle but came up empty. Little Johnny Plath contending with three of them. And the penalty. Neil Cowie involved in a little bit of a scuffle up. Nothing in it. Langer away for Johns, and Willie Kahn was thinking about what he was going to do. So Brisbane, they continue to make more of the errors. And the siren in the background. So at half-time, we have a scoreline of 12-4 in favour of the visiting side from Wigan. They're challenging for the trophy, which is held by Brisbane. They scored 2 tries. Dennis Betts got one, and Barry John Mather got the other. You probably don't need to be told the champion goal kicker, Frano Botica, converted both. And Wendell Saylor scored a magnificent try. A solo performance on the right flank about 7 minutes back. So at the break...
Oh, with a great first half. Wigan in front as they try and reclaim the World Club Challenge in front of 60,000 in Australia, and most of them Australians too. Good first half. We'll look back at all the best moments after the break, including the 2 Wigan tries. Wigan 12 points to 4 in front at the end of the first half. See you again soon.
You're watching Sky Sport.
And 1 try for Saylor of Brisbane, 2 goals too for Frano Botica. With me in the studio is former Wigan star Andy Gregory. Andy, what do you make of it all so far?
Well, it's been a good first half, hasn't it? You know, I've just been listening to the commentators over there saying about how many handling errors Brisbane's made, but I think a lot of credit must go to the Wigan defence. They started well, and hopefully they can keep it going.
Yeah, 9 Brisbane handling areas to 4 from Wigan. That's quite an advantage.
Yeah, it is. I don't think Wayne Bennett will be very pleased, and Wigan, you know, must take a lot of credit for them, and a lot of credit must go to Graham West. He's prepared them well, and they certainly mean business out there.
The other thing is the statistics even on the possession count. 52% Wigan, 48% Brisbane. That's all fairly even. It's just been those crucial errors that have made a difference. Yeah,
that's true, but the defence of Wigan's been tremendous. And like I said before the game, I did fancy Brisbane, but hopefully Wigan can keep it going. Sean can keep clearing in the corners, along with Andy Farrell. And they've just got to keep defending. They don't have to panic. Hopefully Brisbane won't get an early score and Wigan can keep it going.
You mentioned Sean's kicking. His kicking was crucial in that first try, wasn't it? When very impressive work by him, picking out perhaps the weak area of Brisbane where they haven't got a recognised full backing at the time.
Yeah, that's true. It's a tremendous kick from Sean, and Dennis Betts does awfully well. He gets across the field, and I don't know what Willie Kahn and Saylor's doing there, but they just let it bounce, and it's a try scorer's dream to see the ball over the line and just got to fall on it.
Do you think Wigan will have picked that out and said that's a weak area?
I do, and I think Wayne Bennett, like I said before the game, I think Wayne Bennett has made... He was expecting Sean Edwards to kick the ball in the corners.
This is an important try-saving tackle. Steve Renouf stopped by Jason Robinson and Gary Connolly.
Yeah, 2 tremendous tackles Jason's done, and Gary Connolly's not put a foot wrong all night.
Importantly, after that, of course, the scoring continued as Barry John Mather came forward. They'd laid the foundation with some good defensive work, and then Barry John Mather gets the second try.
Yeah, it was tremendous. Sean Edwards throws a long ball to Botica, but if you watch Phil Clark, he links up tremendously well, throws the ball to BJ Mather, who's Renouf's one of Australia's best centres. He just goes through him as though he's not there, and he uses Merton and Fire as a great foil and gets over the line.
They were saying about how he was cocky to ignore Martin the Fire, but he knew he could do it himself.
Yeah, he did. He's had a tremendous season, and he'll certainly enjoy that one.
The build-up to it as well, Sean Edwards involved again, Phil Clark involved. They really were combining well.
They are, you know, they're getting it wide, and I think one of the losses for Brisbane was Kevin Walters, and they certainly exploited it, Wigan.
One worry, of course, was the form of Wendell Saylor, and Saylor here making a run which ended up with him passing to a fairly static Walters, and a good tackle by Martin.
A tremendous tackle from Martin. He's not noted for his tackling, but he's put some in tonight, and I'm sure Kevin Walters felt that one.
But then Wendell Saylor finally did find his way through. Perhaps a question mark about the Wigan defence here?
Yeah, that's true. If you have a look, Barry John was still on the floor, and Martin had to cover for him. But full credit to the lad. He's made a few mistakes, but he's certainly having a go tonight, that lad. And I'm sure he's got a big future in the game.
That's right. It looks like he could be one. We'll see a bit of him.
Yeah, that's true. He looks a tall lad, and he looks pretty strong.
So that brought it back to 12-4. But a good game by Gary Conley, though, and this is an important tackle again from him. Yeah,
I think Graham West has done a tremendous job here. He's moved Connolly to full-back, which I do think is his best position. And hopefully, we won't see many more kicks coming through for Chris Johns there, and hopefully we can see some attacking flow. Just one other bit of action, which is Jason Robinson in action. When he has this little attempt here, shows his confidence, I suppose. Yeah, it does. I bet the Australians find it hard to believe that he couldn't get in, Wigan's Wembley setup. But it just shows you that he's strength in depth at Wigan, and he's proved tonight he's gone out and he is a world-class winger.
Well, you were pretty wary before the game. You thought maybe it'll go Brisbane's way. Any thoughts now?
Hopefully Wigan can keep them out early doors. I hope Brisbane don't get a try. I'm a Wigan lad, and I do want Wigan to win, but I still think, Brisbane, if they get an early try, then, the forwards, with Lazarus running it up and Andrew G. Marco, they might wear Wigan down a bit, but hopefully they can keep it going. Well,
we saw in that State of Origin game the other week how much Australian Rugby League can go to the full 80 minutes. Let's see if it goes the full way again today. Wigan in front, though, at first half. 12 points to 4, the lead against Brisbane. The second half coming up live and exclusive in just a few moments' time. In Australia, Brisbane 4, Wigan 12. The teams back out on the pitch after a successful first half from Wigan. Our commentators out in Brisbane are Peter Sterling, Gary Belcher, the former Wigan coach John Money, and Ray Warren.
They've played outstandingly in the first half, and they lead 12-4 with 2 tries to 1. Brisbane coming back and lost 2 of their stars in the first half, Kevin Walters and Steve Renoff. We might be able to get an update on their injuries before too much longer. Gary Belcher's down on the sidelines. Anything to report down there, Gary?
Well, Wayne Bennett in the dressing room, he certainly wants his players to get a little bit more sting into their defence, come up with some big hits from some of his forwards, get rid of the silly errors. I've also, Ray, got Joe Lydon here with me, who's quickly going to give us a report on what was said in the Wigan dressing room.
Well, the half-time talk, really, Gary, was the fact that the next 10 minutes of this half is very, very crucial. We know the Broncos like to come out now, play very attractive football and hopefully get points on the board. We've got to defend very well and try and sustain that pressure.
Thanks, mate. Good on you.
Joey Lydon down there with Gary Belcher as Greg McCallum blows time on. Second half of the match underway. Will Wigan go on with it, or will Brisbane come back and retain the trophy, the MMI trophy? $400,000 on the end of this winner take all. No changes in either side, I'm informed. Cowie taken around the legs by Mark Hone. You can see some of these big Bronco forwards dragging one leg after the other. The toll, it must be incredible. For many of them, they're playing their third, including an Origin, in 10 days. Dennis Betts, who was strong in the first half, he scored that try that put them on the road. Edwards kicking, landing down on the 10-metre line and beyond. O'Neill comes back. Saylor will scurry up, I would imagine, to dummy half, but John Plath will beat him to it.
It's very tough, that workload that we have mentioned on a couple of occasions, Ray, but the important thing for the Brisbane players really is to not think about it. If they start thinking tired, that's when they're in trouble. And I thought it was interesting when Paul Harrigan was asked after the state game how they kept going. He said that, well, when it was in front of you, you did it. And the only time that you ever got tired was when you thought about actually having to make the tackle. So they've really just got to play on instinct tonight.
Cam now. Chance for Peter Ryan. Improving the position to the 40-metre line. Kerrod Walters on. Langer steps and beats Edwards. As kick will bounce on the 10-metre line. Jason Robinson. Magnificent first half. We've heard plenty about the youngster who debuted in Test football. I think he was 18. Connolly, Canterbury last year. But he's blossomed, Connolly, as a player since we first saw him in the '92 World Cup final. The pass looked like it might have been forward away to Farrell.
It's a little bit interesting you talk about people being tired. Everybody's got, in Australia's got to realise that Wigan have just played 45, 46 games. They've been through the final of every game, every competition in England, and Wigan have been in the final. So Wigan have just come off a 45, 46 game season. So if anything, they're coming in a little tired, they're coming in a little jaded, but their performance is certainly great tonight.
John, you know them better than most. Just having a look at them, how are they travelling? How are they going?
Well, I think they're travelling very well. They're tackling pretty well, and you know, they've put themselves in a position to win this game.
Robinson picked up the dregs. He heads off for the line. Sailor to beat. Does that and puts it down. Well, is he having a game or what? Jason Robinson. He'll be the mayor of Wigan.
One of the great things about both of these sides is their ability to capitalise on their opponent's mistakes. Michael Hancock looked like he might have been catching this football and he could be putting the football down. The pass back inside, it wasn't that bad. Should have been taken. And then Jason Robinson, he scooped on the ball, beat one tackle of Willie Kahn. Came across Wendell Sailor. He looked to set the man up inside in Cassidy, but he's gone straight through Sailor's defence. Really a tackle that should have been made, and again coming from a drop ball from Brisbane. He did well, Julian O'Neill. He set Hancock up. Hancock dropped the football. The lack of urgency meant that the Wigan players were first to it. And Jason Robinson, there you see, he shapes the pass. He had a pretty good shot, the fullback in Sailor. And Frano Bodica's going to have a pretty good shot here. Jason to the post to extend this lead.
Jason Robinson's just one of those players that we know Wendell Sailor can take players on and beat them, and Martin O'Fire can take players on and beat them, but Jason Robinson's a young player that can do the same, and as we saw, they're very elusive runner, very strong in the legs, and he's got very good speed. Odds on Box to kick this goal.
Well, thanks very much. Bodica, not a problem. Money's betting threes on. He expects us to take it. It's all right if you've got money, Money, when you're asking us to take the tomato sauce. Wigan 18, Brisbane 4 after 44 minutes now. Yeah, he's some player, this kid. By the way, they got a mayor in Wigan.
They used to be the mayor, but they took the keys back.
Oh, didn't they just? You could almost be the mayor of Wigan in Auckland with the people you've got there, John.
Farrell now comes back for Wigan. Well, is that the end of it? I know it's early days, and we're talking about Brisbane. Have they got the petrol to come back in the face of this adversity?
Well, here's a chance. I don't think it's the end at all, and they really need to come up with some mistakes from Wigan in their own territory. This is one of them. Let's have a look. There's a hand now. Well, it looks like it's just come out. So a scrum feed 22 metres out.
Plenty of field to work in. 6 players with their heads down and their backsides up. It's a good time to attack, isn't it? Johnny Plath runs the angle. Willie Kahn joins in. Looks to unload, but good defence by the number 13, Clark. Johns gets inside the 20-metre line and beyond. So that's where they are. Back to the right they'll come. Andrew G looks at Mark Hone, but the defence looks at him. They put him away. 12 out. Walters on. In from Langer for Lazarus. Barging ahead. 7 metres from the line. A chance for Brisbane to strike back immediately. Kerrod, now Alfie.
Great tackle, Sean Edwards, a try-saver. That's the last. They've got numbers to the left.
G, the pass to ground, a touch Wigan. Johnny Plath a couple of metres from the line. The ball comes out the back. 6 more tackles, they must score. Hancock, did he get it down? McCallum is still restarting the tackle count with one arm. And has given the try has he not?
Yes, he's given the try. He was just signalling that it was touched by a Wigan player. That meant 6 again. And they kept the ball alive. Hancock almost unopposed out wide. They've done well, Wigan, 5 tackles. That was Mather coming up quickly, getting a touch to the football. Now, somehow, John Plath keeps the ball going. I think it's raked out almost. A comedy of errors. Did well, did Alan Can keeping the ball alive on the cut-out pass through Parnap's tackle. And that was one of those situations again where Wigan had come up with a mistake in their own 20-25 metre area. And Brisbane have made them pay 6 tackles down. A flick pass from John Plath. Good work from Can. Johns did a good job coming inside, setting up Hancock.
I don't know whether Johnny Plath realised that the tackle count had been restarted. And when you think about it, he didn't have time for a committee meeting, did he? He had plenty of work in front of him. Some muscle-bound men from the north of England trying to put him away. He didn't have enough time to work out whether he was on the first tackle or the last, and O'Neill's kick goes wide. So the value of Botica is starting to come to the surface more and more. 47 minutes gone. Wigan 18, Brisbane 8. Tony does another lap. 18-8 in favour of Wigan.
Certainly makes a difference when you go up in 6s, doesn't it? If you can get up in 6s and you can go 6, 12, 18.
Especially with the 10-metre rule, isn't it, John? If you can get... That's why Wigan's defence was so good in that first 10 minutes. That Brisbane did have 12 shots at them and kept them out. And that was a great platform for the rest of the game for them. Confidence-wise, it must have done wonders for them.
Yeah, I think that, we'll see if the same thing happens in the last 10 minutes of the game. If the Broncos stay close enough to be within striking distance in the last 10, 15 minutes, well, they're probably a chance to win the game as well.
Andrew G. He's been a tower of strength, Andrew. Now they reach the halfway. Khan uses sail up. Turns it inside for the support play from Julian O'Neill. Not into touch. Tucked the legs up. Stayed in field. Langer. Mark Hone bursting into a gap. Turning it back. And the Broncos are 12 metres out from the line. Back to the right now for Chris Johns. Then for Julian O'Neill. And he goes into touch.
Well, I thought that might have even been a penalty to the Brisbane team. They were a mile offside Wigan on this side, but Greg McCallum played advantage. And that advantage ended up with the Brisbane player being taken over the sideline. You can see there that they're both Offia and the man inside. That would be Barry John Mather, a long way offside inside the 10 metres. But O'Neill taken over. And now Wigan work it out, 11 from their own line.
Clark it is playing it. The 15 is one of the replacements. Hall, he came on to replace the injured Martin Dermott. And the other replacement out there in the number 10, Michael Cassidy.
Who I have been impressed with, I thought that they really would miss Kelvin Skerritt and Andy Platt, has been Neil Cowie. Done a good job in the middle of the ruck. He's made a lot of yards. He's been very heavy in defence, and he's a player that could make it into the top 13 at Wigan, so it shows the depth they have. That's Cowie now, and you can see there he is a handful.
Talking of front rows, John, how would you rate Platt and Skerritt, Platt in particular, with Lazarus?
Oh, well, they're different styles of players. They both work very hard. Andy Platt's there every week, as is Big Lazo. But Neil Cowie, we always carried 4 front rowers at Wigan, and Neil Cowie seemed to be the odd man out. He was the guy that got dropped for the Wembley performances, so he's probably just jumped at his chance at getting in and saying, hey, yeah, look, I can play too.
Hone. Gary on the sidelines.
Barry John Mather, the try scorer earlier on for the Wigan side, has been replaced with some sort of arm or shoulder injury. Number 16, Paul Atchison's come on. I wanted to throw in there, Sturlo. I think the difference here is the quick play the balls with the Broncos.
Well, they took advantage of one there. This is the last tackle now.
Away for Alan Langer. He puts it purposefully down into the corner. Offia makes the mistake and takes it into touch. His legs are over the line. And it'll be a Brisbane feed.
Well, it was a catch that should have been taken by Offia, I thought. He's got his eyes on the ball. It was a pretty simple catch. Almost running with the football before he wrapped it up. And then Saylor just gets the legs over the sideline. So the kind of mistake we saw from Wigan just before the last Brisbane try.
So even at £440,000 sign-on, world record sign-on, they can make mistakes. Brisbane now inside the 20-metre line. And Chris Johns it is asked to play it. Langer a dummy half. They keep going with this wrap to the left. Willie Khan, 12 out from the line. They've got a nice back line ready on the right. Almost ready, I should say. Alan Cann has reached the centre of the park. Will they keep coming or will they go back? They keep coming. And Langer puts it onto the chest of Andrew G, who I think might have even overshadowed Lazarus with his effort here tonight. Talking of Lazarus, the ball goes to ground. And it might again be a Brisbane feed here.
Yeah, it's gone off Dennis Betts there. Tried to take the intercept late in the tackle count. So this is one of those occasions that John Mooney was talking about where Brisbane have another set of 6. It's a wide blind. Julian O'Neill working back that way, but that just might be to open space up for the other Broncos. That's Plath.
Plath looks for Khan. He comes onto it at full speed. Langer, dummy half, looking for Kerrod Walters to get to that position so he, in turn, can get to playmaker. Now he has, and they've used up 3. Lazarus. Ryan looks at the corner. Ryan held a metre from the line. Lazarus now dummy half. Kerrod Walters. Langer, the defence is up very quickly. That might bring them undone. Johns it is. Johns piling on the power. Goes himself for the line. He's inches short.
And the biggest play of the game from Sean Edwards there. Went up quickly and came up with a try saver. Couple to hang on now, Wigan.
Kerrod Walters turns it back. Willie Khan works in traffic. And he's pulled down 10 metres out. The last tackle. Langer calls for it. Gets a long pass away. Kicked by Andrew G. Looking for the flanker. And it comes down to Wigan. Jason Robinson. And tackled by Glenn Lazarus, of all people.
Jason Robinson took a great take there. But Sean Edwards, as I said, I think he's come up with the best play of the game. It was before this, after the kick's gone across. Had to catch that one, Robinson, or it was a try. But Edwards, well, he's come from the clouds, and the important thing I'm trying to point out is that Edwards raced up, got involved in the back line of Brisbane, had to turn and chase 30 metres to get back onside and make that tackle. That was a phenomenal effort.
That's Cowie. 18-8. Wigan over Brisbane. Well, that's good. They kick Wigan on Sunday and switch back to Brisbane tonight. Sailor now.
Goes an over-rate, 10 points in it. We've still got 25 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, but you're wishing you'd stayed on Wigan. 40-metre line, penalty for Brisbane. Julian O'Neill finds the line.
What price the Bronx then, Ray? I'm prepared to come in late.
Turn it up. You've been throwing barbs all night. We're just trying to get square. Gina. Oh, what a tackle. The number 15, Martin Hall. Built close to the ground and he got right under the ribcage. 25 out from the line. Kerrod Walters along for Alan Langer to push onwards for Mark Hone to try and get through. Oh, tremendous work, Mark Hone. He's playing like a 5/8 out there. Johnny Plath to play it, but it's a penalty. Wigan have given them a penalty.
Do we see the quick tap? Yes, we do. Kerrod Walters picks Langer up as first receiver. The step back inside. Peter Ryan.
Ryan will score. No, he won't. He's pulled down. 3 out. Slammed away by, I think it was Bodica. Now Mark Hone. He tries to burrow through. Walters. Langer's with it. Puts on a spurt. And the defence converges. Walters again. Now for Alan Cann. Brushes off one. He'll carry them across if he can.
Well, numbers left. Big numbers left if they can get a quick play the ball there.
Andrew G calls it left. They cut him out and Plath puts it down. McCallum will put a scrum down.
Oh, great defence from Wigan. And their ability to get up quickly on the outside men is really putting pressure and forcing mistakes. The crowd don't like it. But they've been down there for an eternity, Wigan. there you see John Plath under pressure from Parnapa coming up quickly. They had to score. They've done a great job, the Englishmen.
Yeah, I think regardless of what happens in this game, Peter, I think Wigan have just said to everybody in Australia, hey, we are a great side, and give us a little bit of credit.
Well, they're entitled to it, John, that's for sure. And I would imagine thousands of people in the north of England in particular watching this on B-Sky B and loving it. 30-metre line now for Gary Connolly.
What they really need now, Wigan, is just some good play in the centre of the field.
Oh, this could bring a penalty, McCallum.
Yes, it will. No, he's knocked on.
What's he doing? Is he giving a penalty or the knock-on? No, I think it's the knock-on.
Let's have a look if this was dangerous or not. Off here, he certainly got buckled in the tackle. Driving in low. Well,
I think it'll be a Monday night job in Australia.
I don't know. It was a pretty good shot. I don't know how dangerous. What do you think, John?
Oh, well, he certainly upended him, but, I think we're reacting a little bit too harshly on those sort of tackles. I think it was a great tackle. He got the shoulder in there and he drove him hard.
Khan to play it. That might be so, but plenty of blokes have visited league headquarters and the judiciary for less. Kerrod Walters now, 35 metres out. Centre of the ground, a chance to go both ways.
I was about to say with Wigan was that they really have to get some field position. They've got to get a couple of good roll-ons in the centre or on the fringe of the ruck, but it's Brisbane who are doing that. Good front-on defence once again.
Worked out by G through Walters for Lazarus. Lazarus puts on a little step and gets it away for Wendell Saylor. Saylor tackled 10 metres out, stays in the field of play. They've got a big field out there to the left. A sloppy play the ball. Kerrod Walters does it himself. Kerrod's tackled on the 5th. Saylor goes into acting half. Brisbane need to score. Langer's pass to Can. Can gets it away. It's play on for Johns. Now it's on for Khan. Now it's out for O'Neill. He gets it down. It's a Brisbane try. O'Neill in the corner.
Well, they're scoring scrappy ones, but they're all counting. And again, Brisbane keeping the ball alive. Wigan coming up, not being able to stop the football. You've got big numbers out there, Brisbane. A short pass, again a good tackle from Sean Edwards, but somehow the ball is promoted. They keep it alive now. Cut out pass there. Willie Khan, a flick out the back. I'm quite sure whether Willie knew where it was going. And Julian O'Neill again through the tackle of Parnapa. Somehow they've kept the ball alive. This was one of the occasions that the ball's come out when maybe it should have been wrapped up, and so too was that one. Finally, Julian O'Neill getting up on the outside to bring his side within a converted try.
(18 to 12). And Julian O'Neill is probably wishing this goal-kicking responsibility to the heavens. Every time they put it down, they give him a kick from the sideline.
They keep scoring them in the wrong place for Julian O'Neill, don't they? They keep getting them right in the corners, and I'm sure he'd welcome a try under the post.
Okay. That's what he's got in front of him. Nothing new for him. None from 2 this time. This time, yes! A beauty for Brisbane. 18-14 down. 1 hour. The match is gone. (18 to 14). The champions are coming back. Or that's not the right word. They're both champions.
They are both champions. And a controversial change in the game there with the Martin Offia decision. Most of the Wigan players would believe they should have got the penalty. It came up as a mistake. And Brisbane got the football and they scored again within the next set of 6. Now Wigan really, they have to dig deep now. They've seen a big lead whittled away. They need to muscle up in defence now and get down this end of the field as much far. Great tackle,
Phil Clark on Andrew G. I'll tell you what though, hasn't Andrew G had a game? For that matter, so has Mark Hone. Here's Alan Cann. I know he's probably not what you should call a pocket rocket, but that's a term of endearment for him. I like to think of him as the pocket rocket. He does some explosive things. Sideline comment from Gary.
Well, another player has taken upon himself this half to get Brisbane forward.
Here's Langer getting the pass around the corner. Julian O'Neill, is it? No, it was Peter Ryan. Ryan is tackled, and Brisbane on the attack. Back to you in a moment, Badge. It's with Langer now. Across, the pass around the corner. It finds Gary Connolly. Sorry, Gary.
You're still with us, Ray. I was saying Glenn Lazarus is playing very well himself. See Martin Afire trying to find some space, but Brett Galia is warming up here, and it may be to replace Lazo.
So the ball played by Offia, and this is Robinson.
They have put pressure on Alan Langer tonight. I think that he has made a couple of bad options at times when you would think that it was just a simple task. Oh no, here's another mistake for Wigan.
Kieran Walters now scheming, working wide. And Chris Johns looks at Saylor, says, come with me. And Saylor had a chance to bring us to 18 all. This should show pretty much that Brisbane had a chance right here.
The pass was a little low, but again, one of those that try-scoring positions you expect to catch. Got to give a rap to Gary Connolly as well. Once again there and cleaning up that charge down pass from Alan Langer. Really put his body on the line. Wigan now under siege. They've got to steady the ship. And that means they've got to get a good set of six here with a big kick and play field position.
Galia is getting ready to come on for Brisbane. That's Atchison for Wigan who played it. And now Farrell.
Really, John, as you pointed out, it's got to be Farrell that gets himself in the position to take the kicks now. They've got to get the big raking torpedoes down, and Edwards isn't going to accomplish what Farrell can do with the ball.
No, Farrell kicked the ball 20, 30 yards further than Sean Edwards, and he's the right man to kick the ball deep out of their own half.
Played by Sean Edwards, the captain. You asked for it, you got it. That's Farrell. Big kick, but straight down the throat of Wendell Saylor. Dangerous player to kick to in broken play. Langer pushing it along for O'Neill. Sean Edwards makes the tackle together with Canepa, and Galia gets ready to come on. Andrew G leaves, Hancock unloads, Peter Ryan puts it down. Concentrated defence there from Wigan, and I think it was Frano Botica. It was. Cassidy offloads. Edwards across. Clark tackled. 32 out now from the Brisbane line, and it seems like an eternity since the red and white jumpers were down this end of the park. 28 metres away from the line. From Edwards to Connolly into his back line. Offia outside him, Farrell inside. Edwards. 16 is Atchison, 21 years of age. Edwards kicks for himself. O'Neill turned around. Edwards comes down fast. Oh, Julian O'Neill has only just got it over the dead ball line.
Well, that was the perfect kick. I thought they may have thought about a field goal, but really that's not what was needed. They're only leading by 4. What they need is possession and being this end of the field. And there's no better kick in the game than that one, with O'Neill forced to put it out.
It's a class act, Sean Edwards. He's playing a much higher brand of football. I'm watching him unfold tonight than ever I saw him play with the Balmain club.
He's lost nothing tonight in his battle with Langer. I know that Edwards was disappointed the last time they met in the club challenge.
Farrell now. Wigan. They lead by 4. And at the moment they're dancing outside Central Park. Played by Cowie, fed away by Hall. Botica works with Edwards. Turned back inside for Hall. Came on in the first half to replace his superior. Betts. shouldered out of it. No penalty given by McCallum. Thought it may have been. Oh, was that a high shot? Yes, touch judge in.
Well, the touch judge, I think, has come in for the first.
I think you're right, Peter, because he couldn't possibly have come in on this high tackle because he was standing next to the tackler.
He did get out there very quickly if it was for the second one, but I think you'll find it was for the infringement on Dennis Betts. The referee, I thought, was in good position, called play on. That's Betts on the last. Well, it was a shoulder charge, but I don't think the Brisbane defender could have got out of the way. And then the high shot here from Phil Clark. Didn't stop Hancock there. Got a bit to say at the end.
This touch judge, if he has come in to make a report on the shoulder charge of Alan Cann, I think he's a game man because McCallum had a full view of it. What?
It'll be a penalty to Wigan here. He's warned Clark, but he's going to go back to the first infringement. You can see there Alan Langer, he's not happy with the decision going against his side because it's a chance now for Bodica to put Wigan that converted try clear. Then we might be starting to talk for a goal.
There's 12 minutes of the match remaining. One of the game's sharpshooters, Bodica. You don't even have to look, I suppose. That's how good he is. He's a Matthew Ridge. He's a Darryl Halligan.
Oh, if you can stop him, but
I have stopped a few, haven't I?
Oh, that odds on, I'm starting to seriously consider backing against if you're putting this wrap on him. Look out for a post job here.
18 metres out. Similar margin off centre.
I don't think he'll even get off the black dot, right? He'll just stay on the black dot all the way over.
You're confident, Coach?
I am very confident.
Penalty 7-4 to Brisbane. Bodica. MMI Insurance Worldwide. They sponsor this tonight. They sponsor Frano, Bodica and Wigan and Brisbane and Illawarra. And 2014 in the match they sponsor in favour of Wigan after 69. Brisbane now looking down the barrel of a converted try to get back level. And after tonight they go to Melbourne, the bulk of them for State of Origin 2 next Wednesday. Then Canterbury the following Friday. Then Origin 3 10 days later. And then Canberra 6 days after that, and then Australia versus France on July 6th. So if they sleep without rocking come July, you'll know why.
Well, 2014, Ray, Brisbane trailed by that converted try. They did happen to run in that 6 points to lock scores up at the end of 80 minutes. My understanding is that it then goes 10 minutes each way. Scores are still locked after that 20 minutes, and they continue playing out there till there is a first scorer.
Canapa. Edwards driving it. Sailors touch that ball. They don't have to be onside. They can come on down if they want to. Sailor tackled inside the 20-metre line. Hancock. Kerrod Walters.
Well, crucial time now. We're inside the final 10 minutes here. 9.5 left on the clock. Alan Langer trying to instigate something, trying to open up an overlap out wide. Chris Johns steps through.
Johns gets to a point 3 metres from the halfway. Kevin Walters and Steve Renoff, both injured in the first half. Mark Home brought down 40 metres out. Spun back into the arms of Langer. He looks for speed. Now he steps off his right. Chips the ball over the head. Offia falls back. And Offie is away from 1, 2, stands in 3, takes another headlong tackle. This time, let's see what he's going to do.
Well, he's called out the Brisbane player here for the tackle.
Alan Cann.
On Offia, Alan Cann. This is an amazing piece of work here. The ease that he got out of a problem situation for himself and his side. And oh, that is a bad tackle. That is a problem tackle. See John Plath down behind the try line. He was involved in that missed tackle on Martin Offia. The referee has said that that's enough penalty against Brisbane.
Farrell it is with the line finder.
What do you think of that one, Badge?
Well, Alan Kemp was already going in next Monday anyway, wasn't he? So he might be fronting 2 charges. It looked a bit ordinary.
The Riversiders lead by 6, 20 points to 14. Hall, a dummy half. Across and through Edwards, and that is Cassidy.
What's the Bodica range with the drop goal, John?
I'd say anywhere 40 metres, just about pull bots up. But they'll be thinking about it. Wigan will be thinking about a field goal.
Clark has been strong in 13 jumper. Edwards works a fairly narrow blind. Farrell supports. 15 is Hall, then Edwards, now Cowie. Last tackle, they're 45 out. Edwards, Bodica's kick off the legs of Langer, back for Wigan, back for Brisbane.
And it was
it's advantage.
Yeah, 6 again there to Wigan. The simple knock-on has turned the ball over. That could be a turning point in the game as well, as Peter...
Galia with a big run. Inspiring run. 35 out. Kieran Walters. Langer. A bit of genius required. O'Neill has done some fantastic things for Brisbane. Khan. 40-metre line. They need a converted try, the Broncos, to hang on to their trophy. Langer. O'Neill, he's everywhere. Hanaper comes up quickly. 35 out on 5. Johns. An incisive run and then a big hit.
Gary Connolly. What a great tackle there as Offia takes advantage of the quick play of the ball and keeps the ball alive for Bodica.
Great defence though by Alan Can. 28 out from the line. And have a look at this tackle from Gary Connolly on replay.
The great thing about Wigan too, as we saw there with Martin Offia, is they've got great counter-attack, and if Brisbane go to sleep a little bit on the handovers on the last tackle, that Offia, he'll go 80 yards.
Well, that's the way he likes it, isn't he? He's loving it when it's broken play. Gives him a chance to use that speed to his fullest advantage. Here he is, a dummy half now. Cowie comes in with his hands out saying, come on, give it to me. He's done plenty of that tonight. Hall.
There's time running out for Brisbane here. 5 minutes left on the clock now. It's the last tackle back to Edwards, who goes to Farrell. It's on his wrong leg. He gets the kick away to Hancock's wing.
Not a bad kick off the wrong leg, and Hancock knocks on obligingly for Wigan's cause. So it'll be a scrum feed for the Riversiders. Filming in, coach. Riversiders. Which river?
The Douglas, down the back of the Dougie stand, the Douglas River stand. It's a little creek that runs down the back of the stand. The Cherry and Whites. I've been out of there for 6 months.
Gary on the sideline.
The Wigan bench right behind me, Ray, and definitely the callers for the field goal. I suppose they're going to work it for midfield, and as you said earlier, front of Bodica would be the man.
Played by Sam Panapa. Bodica was the dummy half through to Edwards, then Connolly. Connolly seems to be revelling in the fullback berth. Edwards sending Robinson on a run to the centre. 22 out. Now Bodica, I think, is ready for it. Brisbane have got 2 big forwards at marker. I thought a couple of the speed men might have got into marker.
I think he's going to wind down the clock.
Farrell bumps away from Langer. Taken to ground by Peter Ryan.
This is the one.
Hall takes a long look over the left shoulder looking for Freno. And here he is. He steps up Langer. puts the shot in, and McCallum says wide. 20-metre place kick to restart.
Right, where's Mark Coyne? I'm just looking for Mark Coyne.
Oh, yeah. Not another one of those.
Keep up, Ray.
Sorry, Pete. Garrett Walters. Lazarus has kept grinding away. They put it down. Cassidy. 3¼ minutes on the clock. Clark inside the 20, pulled down by Alan Cann. Another opportunity to put the 1 point on the board. Betts. No Andy Platt, no Kelvin Skerritt, no Dean Bell. Fine effort. A fine effort by Wigan. 12 metres out.
They need to go for the field goal, or they can just wind this clock down and maybe get the kick into the in-goal area as Robinson tries to get through the middle of the ruck. Botica's on this left-hand side. He's moving further out. He's got good protection from Edwards. They've changed their minds, gone back to Farrell.
Farrell takes the shot.
He's missed it.
This time they miss again.
2:19 on the clock. They've got 80 metres to go here. They need the converter try to level things up. Langer.
Johns on the angle. Flicks it out the back for Mark Hone. Hone put away just beyond the 40-metre line. Langer a dummy half. Spears it out there for Saylor. Taken to ground by Cassidy. Walters. Galia. 1 3/4 to go. Inside ball for Langer from Walters. Right down by Wigan. It should be a restart. It is. Lazarus looking to pop a pass. 38 metres out from the line. 6 points in arrears and they knock on. Brisbane have knocked on. And that almost certainly will see the MMI trophy and the $400,000 go to the 15 times Challenge Cup winners, the Wigan Club.
Yes, that's the ball game, and deservedly so to win. They've been the better side tonight. And errors.